course, he's had this as a briefing for the last few nights as recovery efforts continue in Dominica following the passage of Tropical Storm Erika. Attending tonight is the at the head table. We now go across to the Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerry, as we begin this.
And thank you always for being here. It is critical, especially at this time. The dissemination of information is key. I'd also like to greet the listening public, those of us who are resident here in Dominica and those of us listening via live broadcast of this press briefing. Let me also welcome Honorable Linton, the leader of the opposition, and Dr. McIntyre and some of the members of the EOC. Tonight, we will be highlighting a number of developments and, of course, giving further updates on issues and matters that have been dealt with during the last 24 hours. I will first speak to the tropical wave, which is approaching us, and to inform you, and I think the announcement went out this evening. That's correct, PS. We've published it and we informed the country. Obviously, we are still in hurricane season, and being impacted by one doesn't mean that we cannot be impacted by another. So we should not let our guard down. We must continue to be vigilant and to be mindful of our surroundings, mindful of the hazards, and mindful of our own responsibilities in ensuring that we create a safer environment for us and to prepare ourselves for any eventuality. I will simply take the opportunity now to read the announcement, and if there are any technical questions, Mr. Marshall, the Met officer, is here. Announcement reads: a tropical wave presently expected to produce an increase in rainfall activity across Dominica tonight and in tomorrow morning. Areas and fallen rocks are advised to protect life and property, as grounds are already saturated. Persons residing in the below mentioned special disaster areas are asked to pay particular attention to this advisory. With regards to the special disaster areas, we're talking about Bath Estate, and more specifically Paradise Valley, Dubic, Petit Savan, Campbell, Coolibistry, Pichley, Petit Soufriere, Good Hope, Sansobe. And in respect to the other critical areas, Newtown, Citronay area, Collyho, Maho, Checkall, Lower Canefield, River Estate area. These are the areas we would like for you to pay particular attention to, but of course the entire country. Let us understand, it's for the entire country. So even if you do not hear your village name, it is approaching Dominica. So it is highly recommended that individuals who reside in the mentioned communities, where possible, should seek shelter in a safe posted on the disseminated to As before I go on to give you remarks.
Dominica. Good evening to the members of the meeting. Minister, critical, very important time for us. The diversity of Dominica is really required to unite at this time, not for purposes of uniformity, not to uniform everything, but to achieve effectiveness in the collaboration of all citizens of all colors, for successful relief and recovery at this time of national crisis. Families have lost lives, families have suffered injury, families have suffered loss of property, significant damage to homes. There have been losses in the business community. All around the country, we have been devastated. And the national spirit, you could say, in some rebuild that national spirit. And so I'm pleased to be part of this parliamentary level of policy guidance to for the full recovery of Dominica is effective. It is done in the best interest of all Dominicans. Families who have lost loved ones. Recovery. We must maintain the faith. And we must, regardless of how difficult it is in the country, to learn our lessons, the lessons that we are being taught now about the environment and protecting the environment, to learn them well and to ensure that in recovering and in rebuilding, we take note of those and we emerge a stronger nation. I want tonight to say a special thank you to all of the governments around the world, all of the organizations around the world, all of the funding agencies that are stepping forward to assist Dominica in a big way. Lots of teams have started arriving in Dominica, some with the heavy equipment, some with the engineers, to take over critical aspects of our infrastructure recovery and rehabilitation that are particularly important to us at this time. And I speak here specifically of the Melbourne Hall Airport, and the work we expect will be done over the next few days by the team coming in from the French Islands, Mr. Gadakan and company. We welcome that. We welcome the work of regional governments. I understood today the government of St. Kitts pledging upwards of $1 million towards the relief effort in Dominica. Barbados has come on board. Trinidad is already on board. The countries of the Caribbean are standing up for us as the countries in other parts of the world. And in the public out there, concerns as to whether the leadership for the recovery exercise is picking and choosing who friends are. I had a chat with the Prime Minister today about that. The Prime Minister has assured me, and I guess we'll take the opportunity this evening to assure the nation that there's no selectivity in who is being asked to come forward to help Dominica, because as all hands have been invited to be on deck in Dominica in the recovery effort, all hands of the global community are invited to join us in this rebuilding and reconstruction of Dominica. So I want to issue a very special thank you to all of the governments and people around the world who have identified with this massive disaster that was visited upon us last week, and to say to them, thank you very much for the full recovery of Dominica. Nobody out there is giving money expecting that we're going to be playing cheap partisan politics with it. Myself are here tonight, it's because we recognize that this kind of partisanship has no place in the work that we are all committed to do for Dominica. We're not becoming one political party, but we share a concern about the future of Dominica that requires us now to look for the best interest of the country in every respect, in every aspect, and to ensure that, for example, right now, in the distribution of relief supplies, there's fairness, there's equity, and there is humanitarian action for the people of Dominica, regardless of color, regardless of creed. We are all suffering. The storm did not pick any favorites. The storm battered whatever was in its path, whatever the color. It left us in the gloom of gray. And from that gloom of gray, we rise. We rise with hearts, with hands, and with our voices as well, to ensure that we succeed. And we succeed big, not just for ourselves, but as an example to the global community of how a small island nation like us, vulnerable in so many aspects, can come out of this kind of disaster a better, stronger country. Thank you, PM.
Thank you. Thank you. Just to and I'm hoping that this will be the last we'll hear about it, about this notion by some elements in the society, that the government has been selecting who it has solicited support from, and it is choosing these countries and not asking those countries. Let me say very, very clearly, this is totally untrue. This is far from the truth. This is, in other words, it is hogwash. This government has written to every single country in the world and every single leader in this world, and to organizations, to institutions, and to even individuals. We are out there. We have had donor meetings. We've had a first donor meeting in Barbados on Saturday. We had one today, this afternoon, where the preliminary report was submitted to those donors. Every head of state, head of country has received. I can even say to you that as Prime Minister, I have even written to the Ayatollah Khomeini, the spiritual leader of Iran, seeking assistance. Because at the end of the day, this country needs all of the assistance it can receive from every legitimate and legal source of funding. I'm hoping that people could use the time for better things. We need people to deliver supplies to people. And instead of trying to create, to bring countries into disrepute at this time unnecessarily, it is not fair to the country, not only Dominica, but any other country that we're seeking to say that we have not written to, or we have not solicited support from. This is totally untrue. We've written to every single country and institution, and I can say to you, there is an outpouring of assistance to Dominica, goodwill, people inquiring how they could assist. We have a British ship coming to Dominica on Wednesday for 150 men with water, dry foods, a helicopter, machinery. The Dutch has a ship in Curacao that will be leaving Curacao tomorrow for Dominica with men and supplies and a helicopter. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia will be here tomorrow morning to show his solidarity as he continues to do that. The Minister for Health from Grenada came in here last night, brought in the pathologist to help us with the deceased. The French ambassador will be here tomorrow. The British ambassador, High Commissioner, will be here on Wednesday. You know, we've had the Vice President of the Regional Council of Guadeloupe visiting us. So a number of people coming in to express the solidarity with Dominica. I'm in contact with leaders every single day, trying to find out how can they continue to help, what can they do. So there's a serious mobilization taking place from all different walks of life, and people are very keen on helping. The concerts being held that have been planned for this weekend in many countries in the Caribbean. There are celebrities in New York and in California who are assisting, who are mobilizing friends. So there's a widespread effort to seek assistance with Dominica. So the notion that we have selected people to get funds from is not true, and we're not helping the friendly governments in any way by trying to bring them into disrepute. You know, they have offered assistance. The United States has offered assistance. Every single country has offered assistance, and we've in fact been in touch with them. The U.S. ambassador has been in touch with us every single day since the tropical storm hit Dominica. Every single day, the U.S. ambassador himself directly representing the United States government. So this is not the case at all. So to more important things, you know, just to say that with regards to roads, in addition to the roads I spoke to last night about the access, we can now drive through from Canefield to Pocassé, and from Pocassé to Melville Hall now. We've done the temporary slides on the main road in Bells. This is an extraordinary effort on the part of the operators there to have addressed the difficulties at the Bells and be able to clear the slides in a matter of less than 24 hours. I mean, this is really commendable, and speaks to the of our citizens, the commitment and the desire to see things move forward. So I really want to thank the operators for this heroic effort. They told me they would do it. I told them no, and they proved me wrong. And I'm happy that they proved me wrong tonight, that they were able to have this. An update on water. As of today, most of Roseau area is receiving water. Now, most areas, not all areas, but most areas. So if you do not have water, it is most areas. So so you're not part of the most areas. Belleville Shopping will receive water. This is an advice from the utility company. So I'm not on the ground myself collecting the water, but I've been advised on this. Soufriere Scott said cleaning is taking place and water should be restored tomorrow morning. Works in the Possum area started late yesterday from the old Bacatel are damaged and would require some attention. Wharton Waven and Trafalgar have severe difficulties since the intake and system was extensively damaged. Paybush has some water. Thibault should be fully restored by tomorrow. Parts of Marigot, that is to say Monkey Hill and North End, now have water. With regards to Dominic, and Dominic has been doing a heroic job, as always. One of the well-respected utility companies in the Caribbean, and have the experience of already moving quickly and restoring supply to us. So here's an update of the areas that were restored on Sunday, August 30th, 2015, from last night to now. Soufriere, Scott said Gallia, Macushri, Salisbury, and they say note the rum factory was isolated as it suffered flood damage. So the rum factory won't have, but the rest of Macushri would have. Tetmon, Montine, some areas in Checkle Valley, Placer Wheel in Coolibistry, the place called Placer Wheel in Coolibistry, they have lights there. Keenfield Industrial Estate, parts of Campbell, Granby up to La Plaine except Plaisance, so there's no, we have no lights in place. Damage. Kalinago, Concord, Marigot, that the Douglas to Cyric, Monjon, and of course also Roseville, Castle Comfort, Wallhouse, Girondel, Maho, and Calibishi, Wesley, Blenheim, Vickers, Penville. And there's ongoing works at La Plaine and River Cyric. The transmission there has to be restored. Makushri to Coolibistry, new cable run to be done. And Pointrong, River Cyric, La Plaine. As I said, some works have to be done there before you can get your full connection. With regards to Digicel, Digicel has advised us that currently 86% of cellular network have been restored, 86% across the country. Sites off due to access or power issues are Bells, Sultan, Petit Savan, Melville Hall, Marigot, Dalis. TV and broadband network, 70% of full network restored for both TV and internet. And they said that the areas offline are mainly due to DOMLEC issues and access issues, some of which are being worked on as we speak. So this is regards to the update on the various utility companies. The other point I would like to raise is that many people have been asking from overseas in respect to who do they consign the shipments of relief for Dominica. We're to advise you, as we've advised you today, that you should address you should consign the shipment to Commonwealth of Dominica Relief Aid. Attention, Mr. Gregoire Thomas, care of Dexter, P.O. Box 173, Bayfront, Roseau, Dominica. Telephone 1767-448-2780. That information can be retrieved from opm.gov.dm. That information is there. Anybody who asks you, you could forward it to them and make it available to them in terms of the consignments. So that would facilitate a number of people who've been making the requests. I also want to say to you, as I mentioned last night, that we expected a a team from the World Bank. We had written to them on Friday to come into Dominica to assist us in doing an assessment of the damage. So that team came in to Dominica today, and they literally hit the road running, and they have done and visited some areas. For example, they have done Bells, they have done Soufriere to Scotshead, and portion of the West Coast. So they will continue their work tomorrow. They will cover the entire country to do an assessment of the damage to the country and so forth, and the costs of the damage. A new team will be arriving in Dominica during the week of September 7th, because there are two components of what the government requested of the World Bank. One is to look at the cost for the physical infrastructure, and secondly, to do an economic assessment to advise us on the impact of the storm on the economy, on the GDP, on our fiscal policies or fiscal position, so that we can know where we are in respect to the economic impact of the storm. And we think that is important to guide policy, to guide the government in terms of which areas we give priority, which sectors we give priority, which areas we give priority, so that we go into this in a very focused and calculated manner. So we expect the second team to come in here on during the week of September 7th. The World Bank is coordinating on our behalf the discussions with the international financial institutions. So they've been in discussions with the IMF, they've been coordinating with the CDB to see the different facilities that they can make available to the government in its reconstruction. And all of those institutions have been written to. Acknowledgements of the correspondences have been those institutions. There are several governments and institutions that have assisted. We're still compiling the list, and as they come in, we are taking note. And I want to ensure that I can give you a comprehensive list the next time, so that we mention every country and institution and organization that has provided aid to them. We can express our gratitude to those governments, but some have made pledges for the relief aspect of it, and of course we expect for the reconstruction side that there are certain pledges which will be made. Now, let me address a point that people have been raising and criticizing the government on. That is in respect to why the government is not declaring a state of emergency for Dominica. Now, first of all, on a matter like this, without advice, and I have consulted those who says, and the advice that I have received is that there is no need for a declaration of a state of emergency for Dominica. We have to appreciate that every decision you take, there will be implications, and therefore we have to study of that declaration. Now, what some people have done is that they're looking at the laws of the United States of America and the Constitution of the United States of America, where if a state in the United States were to suffer damage as a result of any disaster, as was in the case, for example, of Katrina in Louisiana, or more recently, New Jersey, that if the local government, the state government, needs federal aid, it would have to declare a state of emergency, and therefore the godfather would step in to take over and to assist with relief efforts. Dominica declared a state of emergency. The actions that will happen, or the things that will happen, is not the same as New Jersey doing so. So we declaring a state of emergency does not mean that we're going to have National Guard in Dominica, as some people say. It does not mean that the Treasury of the United States is going to be open to us. It doesn't mean that, because we're not part of the United States domain. So, and a state of emergency, in a state of emergency, as I understand it, you will be suspending many rights of citizens. You'll be suspending midday rights. You'll be suspending movement of people. You'll be suspending people's human rights. The number of things that you'll be suspending if you were to declare a state of emergency. And therefore you're going to compromise your ability to do what you have to do to restore the country. So I think what we have to focus on is the task ahead, and to brace ourselves as Dominicans to lead the charge, because we are the ones who are going to have to lead the reconstruction of Dominica. People will come to help us, but they must not be ahead and we're at the back. We must be ahead and they're at our back, assisting us and urging us. So I think we have to start, we need to continue focusing on the fundamentals, the important things that will cause us to, first of all, address the issues of relief, and more importantly, the issues of reconstruction. And this is why I have not been able to go out, for example, yesterday much to visit some parts, because I have to stay in to coordinate the international relief effort. You know, and to be making calls and to send letters, because people are making offers of assistance, but they require a letter from the government, which the Prime Minister has to sign. So I have to be there and spending quite a number of hours ensuring that we taken, approvals have to be given on certain things during the course of the day. So it is not a simple exercise. It is not a simple undertaking, and therefore it would be wise for us to focus our energy on the things which matter, and avoid too many side shows, because side shows are distractions, and I do not have the luxury of engaging myself in small talk or side shows. The task is huge. I have braced myself for it, and I'm prepared with the support of the for us to move forward with the reconstruction of Dominica. So I want to thank all the people who were volunteering, made assist and provided assistance to us. All of the countries, all of the institutions, all of the individuals, people who are raising funds and supplies all across the country, and a number of people came forward to offer these services, and people are distributing supplies to different parts of the communities and the country that have been affected. The relief efforts are continuing. Tomorrow we'll continue with this pace to ensure that as the day goes by, people have adequate to take care of themselves, and that's our commitment to the citizens. Everybody who's affected is treated respectfully, is treated the same. There's absolutely no discrimination whatsoever, because at the end of the day, we have to, in these circumstances, reach out to all those affected. So I wanted to make those points of clarification so that we continue to remain focused on the task ahead. Just to reiterate the point about the approaching tropical wave, let us continue to be vigilant, and let us continue to be mindful of the actions which we have to take to protect life and property. I will end here and allow questions if you have any.
Prime Minister, Stuart, good evening to you, and good evening to the rest of the head table. The evacuation process for Pit Savan, which began a day or two ago, how did that go today?
From advice, it went very well. We have been able to move quite a number of people today. And just to read to you the update here. As of 8 p.m. August 31, 2015, a total of 409 people were evacuated from Petit Savan using the Dominica Coast Guard, the St. Lucia Coast Guard, the Barbados Coast Guard, and helicopters from Trinidad, and a helicopter from the Venezuelan ship. 30 of the 409 evacuated were elderly and injured citizens who had to be airlifted. To date, a total of 518 people have been evacuated from yesterday. So 518 from yesterday. In the Daru area, there are 10 people, one elderly. To be, as we said, it is a voluntary process. Consent form. We offer you the means of being all of the people in Petit Savan for cooperating and agreeing to. In 3 people, 2 elderly. Who must be wrenched out of the area. So tomorrow, I think we will look at it and to see how. A total of 16 people still left in Petit Savan. 16. So this is a tremendous effort today in terms of the evacuation of people, and you know, people cannot go on a bus, so you have to take the small boats, the Coast Guard boats, to go into the shore and then ferry them to the bigger vessels and into town. So we really want to thank all those who were involved in the evacuation of Petit Savan. I can tell you, I mean, all of us are happy that they're in a much safer location now. They're in a much safer location now, and we will try to persuade the others to do likewise and to be evacuated. So we'll continue seeing whether they'll have a change of mind by tomorrow morning.
Do you know, Prime Minister, whether many of these 500 would have been taken up by family members?
We've gone to their families from the numbers we evacuated. – 106 went to family and friends. And the person was taken to the hospital, brought back, and that person gave a contact number in Maho. He has a family or friend in Maho, and I believe that person would have been taken to Maho to a relative and friend. So we will get the information for you, and we'll provide it to you as to how many went to. I'm not sure. Don, we have that? We don't have that yet?
No, at the time of the
report, we don't have it yet. Okay, but I'm sure it might be. Just to mention, though, I've also been advised that 121 people were also evacuated from Jubic. 121 from Jubic, who were in shelters, and the people of Grand Bay brought out the new mattresses and stoves and blankets and sheets. I mean, really came out with all what they had to take care of the Jubic people. So 121 people from Jubic were evacuated. I was advised 3 people stayed back, stay in the community. Okay? Yeah. The Minister for Education consulted with me today, having discussed with his education officials, and the advice which he tendered to me today was as follows. That he's of the view, and the Ministry of Education is of the view, that we should ask students to stay home. So students will stay home, but teachers will show up for school. So teachers will report to school, but students will stay home until further notice. And we're hoping that teachers could come and to prepare the school and ensure that everything as shelters. So that assessment. So you may very well have a situation where school will be open. We have communities where school will commence, but because of the commencement of school. But certainly you won't have school on Monday. But teachers have to show up for school. Okay. And finally, we have 369. That's correct. 369 persons currently at shelters. 369 persons currently at shelters. Yeah.
With regards to the evacuation of the residents, what is going to happen after the passage of this law? Where
Well,
do they move to? What is the...
Yeah, we'll get to that point. I mean, we'll be seeking advice on this matter from some our external experts, and of course in consultation with the people. Every decision we take in respect to them, but the state will ensure that it provides for these people. The state will provide for these people. So I don't want them worrying about their homes and so forth. Safety first. You're in a safer place. Thank God we're alive, and we pray for the souls of those who perished. So let us thank God for that, and we'll deal with the issues later, all the issues later.
Prime Minister, do we have a death toll from the tropical storms? 4 days now?
Yep. The 11 bodies have been retrieved. 11 bodies have been retrieved, and there's still 21 missing. The 21 would include some from Pidit Savan, the 3 from Buffet State, or 2 from Buffet State, 3 from Buffet State, 3 from Kulibistri, 1 from Dalis, and 1 from Cassibus. So there's still 21.
2 French nationals.
And I'm being told that 2 French nationals are missing. So there are 21 Dominicans missing and 2 French nationals missing. So 11 bodies have been retrieved, and 21 are missing. Yeah. Obviously, the numbers will change as as information comes in, further assessments. You may think that somebody was in Portsmouth when really he was somewhere else. So it will change either way. But certainly, so far we have retrieved 11 bodies.
We've been hearing a lot about the outpouring from the international community in terms of assistance to Dominica. What would that be like at this moment?
I mean, the assistance is in different form, different form. People have sent, because now you're in a relief stage, so you need food supplies, you need things like water, you need things like medicine, you need engineers, you need heavy equipment, you need transportation, because you're contained by the fact that your main airport is not functional. You need security, additional security personnel. So different countries have been providing different forms of assistance. but the countries, you know, and they all will be utilized once they arrive here, because there's a plan to utilize them. We have things for them to do. So different countries are sending, are making different pledges. Some countries have made financial pledges, you know. So it all depends on the ability of the country or the institution or the individual. But so far we've accepted all of the offer of assistance. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Let me thank Mr. Linton and thank all of you, the press. And let me say good night to all of you listening. Let us keep the faith. Let us continue pressing on. We have to keep on pressing on. We cannot be broken by the huge task we have ahead. We have to be strengthened by that. And let us do what we have to do for Dominica in our efforts towards reconstructing our country and advancing it 30 years forward. Thank you and good night.